We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Walt Marchbanks. I'm the Passenger Programs and Services Manager with the Port of Portland. I'd like to welcome everyone to coming to our sixth now virtual PDXPeople Quarterly Awards event. We're live from Port of Portland headquarters here in Portland, Oregon. We're very grateful for the community's vaccination efforts that have really made this event possible. And this event is really a great opportunity to thank and recognize some of the great customer service success stories that we've received over the past quarter. Today, we've got a bunch of folks here that are here to receive recognition, and this event is really all about you. This is really all for you, so thank you so much for coming. For those of you who haven't attended this event before, here's what you can expect. First, we're going to have a great presentation from our Chief Operating Officer, Dan Pippinger. Next, we're going to have a great self-care segment that we partnered with both Timberline Lodge and the U.S. Forest Service to develop. And then last and most importantly, we're going to host the awards portion of today's event. And if you're an award nominee tuning in from home or in the room, we're very excited because we're going to be raffling off a $250 Timberline Lodge gift card to anybody who received a nomination over the course of this past quarter. Now, if you're joining us from home, please be sure to drop us a like, share the feed with your loved ones, and we're really here to show some love to the folks that we're here to recognize. So, without any further ado, Dan Pippinger was named the Port of Portland's. You can come on up here if you want. Yeah. No, it's all right. Yeah, I know. I just keep going, I guess. Dan Pippinger was named the Port of Portland's Chief Operating Officer in January of 2020. In this role, he's responsible for the operation of PDX and our two general aviation airports, as well as the port's marine terminals. He's been at the port since 2006, and in his previous role as Director of Planning and Development, he oversaw long-range planning, capital program, facility design, and the port's tenant improvement process. Dan has also served as the port's Director of Marine Operations, a position he was well suited for, thanks largely to a bachelor's degree in marine engineering from the U.S. Coast Guard Academy and master's degrees in both naval architecture and ocean engineering from MIT, and his 20-year career with the U.S. Coast Guard, where he retired with the rank of, wait for it, Commander, right? Dan and his wife live in Portland and have 3 daughters. You'll find him on the weekends camping and hiking in the Cascades or running with his dog in Forest Park. Without any further ado, a round of applause for Dan Pippinger.
Thanks, everyone. It's great to be here. I came through the port on the marine side, so the aviation side is relatively new to me. Taking over right before the pandemic's been a real learning experience. But one of the things I love is the people here. You are really what makes this such a great place, and it's fun to work in this environment with all of you. And I wanted to tell you that before we got started. You have to listen to me to get a free lunch. I have to talk to get a free lunch. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the port, but I also am, a little off script here. If you have a question, please ask it. I'm happy to just engage in some dialogue with you now, if you've got it, or if you see me around. So we're just going to go on. A little bit about the port. We have 3 marine terminals, 3 airports you just heard. We're also the largest industrial landowner in the state of Oregon. So we really have work in all 3 of those business lines, and we have facilities all over the Tri-County area. We're really located in Clackamas, Washington, and Multnomah County. That's our district. And we're a state special district, right? We're not affiliated with any of the local governments here. I think I want to share this with you. We just finished updating our strategic plan, and as you can see, we're using this term shared prosperity now, and we're trying to think a little bit differently about how we do our business, right? We've been in business in some form or another for over 100 years, right? Originally started out dredging the river so wheat can move from the Pacific Northwest to San Francisco back in the day, a long time ago in the 1800s. But we want to think about shared prosperity. How do we help all of the communities around here, not just businesses? Because really we've been business focused, certainly in our past, where we're helping businesses connect to markets. Certainly we help people travel, but it's really been about business. Now we're trying to think about the community a little bit differently and about everybody in every community. What do they need and how can we serve them? And I'm really proud of that. And I think, when you think about your customer service at the airport, you're doing that for everybody that goes through the airport, not just the seasoned business traveler who has loafers on to get through security fast and doesn't wear a belt, right? You're really helping everybody. So some of the things we're doing right now outside of PDX, We're working on this thing called a Mass Timber Coalition down at Terminal 2. It's one of our old marine terminals. We no longer use it for that. And we're trying now to partner with a couple, the Oregon Mass Timber Coalition, to make it a mass timber manufacturing facility to create prototypes for mass timber for modular homes. And mass timber is like an engineered wood product, right? You use not your prime trees, but reclaimed trees, things from forest fires or lesser trees where you're making a product out of it that's super strong and is a great building material, and it's good for the environment and good for the forest, right? And the idea would be to partner with this. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, sorry. I generally don't need a microphone. I'm sure you can learn that. And the idea would be that we could prototype like modular homes, not manufactured homes, but modular homes. So maybe it could be used for some of the housing crisis. Maybe it just could be used for a better and environmentally more friendly way of building homes quickly and efficiently. A lot of work to be done in that, but we're super excited about that opportunity. And it would create not only jobs in the urban area, but rural areas as well in terms of forestry management. We also have 3 marine terminals. This is Terminal 6, near and dear to my heart. It's where I worked for my first 7 years at the port. You've heard a lot about the supply chain disruptions, all the ships anchored out. Well, we've actually been a real beneficiary from all that problem. And we have some good container service now, mainly to the Asian Pacific Rim, to China and Korea. We have 2 lines, SM line from Korea and MSC, which is a global carrier. And so we're having a very successful year. But we also move a lot of things out there, autos, imports and exports, wheat, potash, which is a mineral bulk used in fertilizer mainly, soda ash, which is used also in mineral bulk, which comes out of Wyoming and goes to the Pacific Rim for glass manufacturing primarily. So a lot of different commodities on the marine side, and it's been pretty good years, even in the pandemic on the marine side. A lot of commodities moving, but some of the supply chain disruptions have hit here in terms of rail car availability to move the containers, trucking. So all those challenges are true. We just don't have the backup of ships that other ports do. So let's move on to you and to where you work now a little bit. 2020 was really bad. 2021 was better. So, with the vaccines, I was just talking to my wife yesterday, and it was this time last year, if you remember, where the vaccines were just starting to come out for like first responders and healthcare workers. Man, that seems like 4 years ago, doesn't it? I mean, it's been a long time. And, we got through that and we were feeling pretty good. I remember going back to the Timbers games. I was super excited. And then this thing called the Delta variant showed up, right? And that kind of put a damper on things for a while. And we weren't even through Delta here in Oregon when they started talking about Omicron. So it's been a difficult year for sure, but travel has been better. For the summer and for the holidays, we were about 75% of what we used to be in 2019, so that's good. We're continuing to improve, but we're not back where we were before. So we ended the year this year with 11.9 million passengers going through PDX, which is up from 7 million the year before. But remember, we used to be right on the cusp of 20 back in the day. So we've got a ways to go, but I feel good. We're on that path for sure. And of course, I think the vaccines and the boosters have made a big difference, right? We're all still wearing masks, but it's really helped give people the confidence to travel and keep transmission as low as it can be in certain environments like these. So that's good. So second challenging year in a row for all of you who work at PDX. But as I mentioned in the opening remarks, I just want to tell you how grateful I am, the rest of the PDX team, and the port in general is for your hard work and dedication to come every day, treat people with respect and dignity, and do a great job. And it's really the reason PDX wins awards. Yeah, it's great to have a nice building, but it's really about the people and the experience people have. And that's you, that's us, that's even the people coming through and how they treat you as well. So as the year progressed, right, we've kept some good international service with Alaska's been flying to Mexico, Valeris also to Guadalajara. They've been consistent with that. We welcomed Allegiant Airlines in. Canada reopened their border, so WestJet and Air Canada have returned to flying. But international travel is still a challenge for sure, and it's kind of coming back slow. But we do have some good news, right? Delta announced a new direct service to Incheon, Korea. It's right outside Seoul. That'll start in May. We also expect Delta to bring back their Amsterdam direct flight in May. Iceland Air and Condor will go to Reykjavik and Frankfurt through the summer. That's good. That's similar to the service they had before. And I think most recently, British Airways has announced a flight direct to London, which will also start in May, and that'll be year-round. So that's a good sign that the major carriers, particularly Delta and British Airways, are investing in international routes and bringing them back into the market. So that's, I don't know, I feel pretty hopeful about that. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's talk about what affects you on a day-to-day basis, right? Everybody know what PDX Next is, right? So one of the, when Walt did his introduction, I used to be the director of planning and development. So I want to tell you, we've been working on this since 2016, maybe. The ideas, it wasn't called this back then, but the idea that we had to expand the terminal because we were going to run out of security capacity mainly in 2025. This is pre-pandemic thinking, right? So that's what drove all of this. And, we've opened a number of the projects that were part of this big capital suite of over $2 billion, right? Concourse B, which I assume many of you have seen, if not all of you. I hope you have. It's really beautiful. And if you remember Concourse A, what it used to look like, that no longer is there. My sister once flew through here and did a connecting flight through Concourse A. And we didn't have time to connect because she was just here for like 45 minutes. But she called me on the phone and she said, "How do you guys win awards? This concourse is dumpy." I said, "Don't worry, we're going to tear it down in like 3 years." And so when this opened, I sent her a picture of it and I told her I finally did it for her. So this is really beautiful. The artwork from Brian Feddersen is fantastic. The light in there is wonderful. And then the concessions of Good Coffee and Screen Door should open this spring. We're very excited about those as well. We also opened the rental car center. This is a picture of the rental car center. If you haven't been over there, it's really nice. What's super important about that is people can walk to it, right? Have any of you flown into Oakland and rented a car? No, it's like a half hour. You got to get on a bus and go like 8 miles. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm not picking on Oakland. I used to live in the Bay Area. But my point is that in a lot of places you have to take a train or a bus or something like that. It's a real hassle. But we really prioritize getting this in close. But I think connected to this is the parking garage, 3 stories of public parking, 3 stories of rental car parking. The rental cars have moved out of the P1 garage on the first floor, and we'll turn that into a ground transportation system for like Uber and Lyft to get them off of the roadway and into that garage to reduce the congestion on the roadway. And then in this building itself, the rental car center is here. It's an office building above that with 3 floors: TSA, Port Police, and then security badging and communication center, emergency operations centers on the top floor. They are all there because we had to get them out of the main terminal, right? They were up in the mezzanine before that. So that's really the main show, right? And that's this, right? So this is what it looks like today. These red parts are parts that are being taken out of service and demolished. We will be like this for about 2.5 more years. So the good news is it's going to be stable in terms of we're not going to move the passengers around anymore for another 2.5 years. The bad news is we're going to start demolition in those areas. So it could get a little loud, right? And we'll have earplugs for both workers and passengers. We'll let people know the timing of demolition and things like that. And we'll make sure we get the word out through the digital network so travelers know about it as well. But you're going to get asked about this a lot, and your teams will as well. And it's, we want to show you because it's going to be a great place when we're done, but we got to go through a little pain here. The thing that happens after we demolish these areas is we install these mega columns. and then we install the roof. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But that's all happening this year. So while the construction walls aren't going to change, there's a lot going on this year for this. This is what it's going to look like. We talked about that Mass Timber Coalition earlier on. This is kind of like what that product is. This is glue lam is what they call it. They're glued and laminated beams of wood, and you make stronger pieces of wood from it. And it's all locally, from the Pacific Northwest. On this picture in the skylight, the wood around there is sourced from the Skokomish tribe, I think, up in Washington. So we're getting a lot of like small sustainable forest growers, things like that, where this wood is coming from Oregon and Washington. We're very excited about it. And it's 95% sustainably harvested is what it says here. So I don't know what that means about the other 5%, but there's probably some pieces we needed from elsewhere. But anyhow, I think, the roof is going to be the thing. I mean, well, let me go back one. Think about it. This is going to be like 35, 40 feet over your head, right? So when you walk in, and I'll tell you an anecdote in a moment, but people will just look up, right? It'll be amazing. Yes?
Use this as a moment, can you go back, to point out our new mezzanine restaurant up there?
Sure. So
Person, I feel the need to point out.
yeah. So this is like if you're walking through the ticket lobby, which the ticket lobby will be like the whole terminal now. That's how like everything's going to be twice as big because we're going out in the alley. So you walk through the ticket lobby, through this kind of garden area, and you can see the restaurant there that's looking into the alleyway. And there's some stadium seating you see on each side. And you'll turn left and right again before that stadium seating to go to security. We'll still have 2 security checkpoints like we do now. They'll just be in different locations. And then the restaurant will be up there. So that'll be nice. Forgot who I was talking to. And this is what it'll look like from the outside. It'll have these nice waves, kind of reminiscent of water, both on the Columbia River. Just the Pacific Northwest is a very water-oriented environment. It should be pretty good. And then this is what it looks like out across the airfield, right? We're building the roof out across the airfield, and it will be taken apart in large pieces. I mean, I don't know, what was it, 13 moves? It's not that many. 19?
Yeah, I was going to say 18,
Yeah, it's, and there's roof sections farther up top there you can see as well. And that's the big thing. Each section will take 3 days to put in place. And when we put the sections in place, we'll have to close the airport at night for a certain number of hours, and nobody can be underneath where we're working, right? So it's a big logistics exercise for us. It'll be impactful for all of us, but we'll get through it. But the thing is, when you stand underneath this thing, right now out in the construction area, it just takes your breath away. And so now put it 40 feet over your head indoors, it's going to be spectacular. We're really excited about it. The beams themselves are like 80 feet long. They're almost as long as a small 737, right? I mean, they're just huge pieces of timber. And it's just, I wanted to show you these renderings because I'm super excited to see it. It's just going to take us a couple years to see it in place. But the roof will be installed this summer, right? You won't be underneath it, right? So super excited about that. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say, other than we're going to begin the demolition and the roof installation. The ride shares, that must be the P1 garage I'm talking about. Sometimes the comms teams and the ops teams use different language for the same thing, right? And then in 2024, we'll open the main terminal. That'll be the time. It'll still take us into 25 to complete the project. We'll have to go back into the 2 nodes, where you come out of security now and do those when we're done with the main lobby area. But super excited about that. And then here's your pitch to subscribe to the newsletter and monthly $25 drawing for new subscribers. So that's all. I just wanted to share with you what's going on at the port. I'm sorry, I'm going to ask. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them or just take any feedback that you got. Really?
You did a great job.
I was just going to say, I was like, you did great.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Are they going to put the connector back in then?
Yeah. So, yep. Yeah. When we open the western expansion is what we call the Oregon market that got taken out, and then the expansion into the alleyway is what we call the westward expansion. So it'll be this similar to what it was before. There will be a cross connector in the back like there was before. It won't be the one that's out there now that's on the sides. We'll get rid of that. But yeah, it'll be similar. We thought that was a real key functionality for the airport. And we struggled mightily with trying to do something temporarily. But to be honest, it was like $20 million to just do something temporarily. And while for employees, it's a huge issue, for passengers, it's not that huge of an issue. And during the pandemic, with a lot less international flying, it hasn't proven to be a big problem. As international traffic comes back, it'll be more of a problem for us. And we're trying to think about, what if we get a flight in late from Alaska that has 20 people trying to catch a Delta flight to Incheon? How do we get them through security and not tell them, like, good luck, right? So believe me, we're on it. We're thinking about it. Yes, sir.
Do you have somewhere where we can learn more and keep up to date on that mass timber modular home project on the Marine Terminal?
I don't think we have anything up yet, but you know what? I'm sure they're going to put something up. And when we do, we'll put it in the newsletter for people. How's that sound? I don't think we have anything up just yet. So it's pretty cool. It's really unique, and it's like an area of business we haven't done before. So I think it goes back to that conversation about shared prosperity, right? Is that we think of ourselves as a port authority. We're not mass timber modular home builders, but we could facilitate that because we have the facilities and some of the know-how on setting up these kinds of things. So, I think that partnership is pretty important. Anything else? All right, I'll close not only thanking you for your attention, but just again, thank you personally, both from myself, from the rest of the operations team, and from the port for the great work you do. And I know you have coworkers that do a great job as well. And it's just fun to work in an environment like this where people actually care about where they work and really try to provide good service to people that are traveling that, as you know, we don't know why they're traveling, right? Could be that they've had a death in the family, could be to go to a birth or a wedding, could be to go to school, could be in the military getting deployed. And just treating people well, I think, is just a wonderful thing. And it's something everybody remarks on. And that's not work I do, it's work you do. So thank you very much for all that.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. I always tell people that the road to success is always under construction. And, here we are just about halfway into, a very lengthy process. So thank you very much, Dan, for sharing all that information. So I just wanted to acknowledge that the wintertime can be a little tough around here. With the exception of today, it's sunny and beautiful out. But more often than not, it's not exactly that way, right? It can be a little miserable, downright miserable sometimes. And I think we as a culture, as a community, we often forget how close the mountains are to us, right? Mount Hood is an hour away by car, right? Looking out the window today, we can see Mount Hood directly from our headquarters building. But there's a lot of real positive benefits that happen with snow activities you do in the snow. It can strengthen your immune system. You get a healthy dose of vitamin D. You could probably get that today, coincidentally, just by going outside. But you get a little closer to the sun, the higher up you go. And exercise, particularly outdoors, is really great for your immune system. It's really great for your mental health, right? So that's why we decided to partner with Timberline Lodge and the U.S. Forest Service on a video that offers some great tips and insights to help you prepare for your journey up to the mountain and make it safe and comfortable. So I'd like to say, if you're watching, to the U.S. Forest Service and Timberline Lodge, you both were amazing partners as we worked on this project together. Timberline store manager Chris Weldon has also been a member of our working committee for the last couple of years, and he's been a huge customer service champion. So Timberline Lodge opened their first store at PDX in 2016 on Concourse D in a natural partnership between the tourism industry, the travel and tourism industry, and recreation. So Mount Hood Lodge, the lodge up at Timberline, was actually opened in 1937, and it's since been declared a National Historic Landmark, attracting over 2 million guests a year to enjoy the range of winter sports activities and summertime activities. There's actually a lot of stuff to do up there in the summer as well. The PDX store is recently relocated to Concourse C near Gate C11, where it continues to inspire visitors to visit Mount Hood and connect with local makers through its shop. So after we play this video, we're actually going to be raffling off a $250 Timberline Lodge gift card that can be used for merchandise in the store here at PDX or up at the lodge itself. So you can use it for lessons, rentals, food, lift tickets, and on. So I actually have a snowboard helmet here with all the nominees' names in it. So Dan, don't go anywhere. I'm going to be asking you to draw the lucky winner. And without any further ado, I'm going to play the video.
Why not come up to the forest? There's a lot to do. There's snowboarding, skiing, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, tubing, snowball fights. I've even seen children build snow castles with their beach toys. So there's all sorts of things you can do. Trillium Lake is a good spot for cross-country skiing. You have White River Snow Park, where it's a family-friendly place. Kids are, on little teeny slopes. People are snowshoeing out to the backcountry. There's all sorts of things you can do in just that one park.
There's also lots of paid sledding down at Government Camp. You can go down to Summit Pass, and it's more of an organized structure where you can rent a tube, and come on up and enjoy an afternoon and a lunch with a family, get some sledding in. No skills required. There's definitely something up here for everyone. Timberline has a wide variety of terrain for all ability levels. Roughly 84% of the terrain at Timberline is geared for beginners and intermediate skiers and snowboarders. If you're coming to Timberline with a multi-use group, some people are skiing and snowboarding, some people are not into that. You can kind of take a look at the backdrop here, and maybe the fireplace. You could come on in, maybe catch up on your reading, bring a computer, catch up on a little work. Yeah, grab some lunch, have a beverage or two, take a tour through the historical museum downstairs, take a Forest Service tour. So there's endless really cool stories, about this place, how the ideation of it and how it was created. One of the cool pieces of history at Timberline are the legacy of the St. Bernards. We've always had a male and a female St. Bernard on the property, always been Heidi and Bruno. So now we're on iteration, I believe, 11 and 12 for the male and females, but they are working dogs. They are here almost every day of the week, and people come out specifically to see, Heidi and Bruno. So Timberline does have, a retail store at the Portland Airport. We get a lot of interest, a lot of questions, a lot of traffic, and it's a way for us to extend our brand.
So in the Portland Airport, we're located in C Concourse across from gate C11. Timberline Lodge was built by the local craftsmen, and in our presence with the retail environment, we actually carry that local craftsman into the presence. We get a lot of questions on what goes on at the lodge during the time where we aren't skiing and stuff like that, when you have a lot of outdoor activities and sledding and stuff around the area, as well as hiking and mountain biking in the summers as well.
So when you come up to the forest, the best thing to do is plan ahead. It's always best to prepare for really cold temperatures, really wet conditions, and making sure you're ready mentally, as well as having equipment that is going to help you be successful for a day on the mountain. It's important to remember your 10 essentials. One of the biggest things is first aid kit. Depending on your group, you want to make sure you have medications for whoever may need it. There's also the winter cart kit that you should always build on your own, depending on your car and what your needs are. Tire chains, snow shovel in case it snows throughout the day and you need to dig your car out of the parking lot. Also, full tank of gas. You want to make sure you have plenty of extra water, food, and extra layers, such as blankets, sleeping bags, or anything that's going to help you keep you warm. Phone charger is a big one. You're out in the snow, you're going to want to take pictures, you want to take videos. It's important to have that charger. You never know what you're going to need it for. For winter layering, it's good to have a base layer that's not cotton. Synthetic or wool is good. That's kind of stuff that's going to dry really quickly, so it's going to keep you warm faster. Second layer after your base layer, you want to make sure you have like a sweatshirt, a fleece, something that's going to keep you warm on top of the base layer. After that, you want your outer shell, which is going to keep you dry. You also want to have gloves to protect your fingers. Making sure you have wool socks or thick socks that keep your feet warm. It's always important to bring an extra pair of socks just in case you get your feet wet. Making sure you have boots that keep you warm, can keep you dry as well is important. Making sure you have a hat or even a scarf. Another thing that people overlook is eye protection. Just having goggles, sunglasses, good for your eyes. One of my favorite accessories is hand warmers, just keep my hands warm. I'm not moving around. And sunscreen can do wonders in the winter. Even though there may not be a lot of sun, you can still get sunburned. But you do need to remember your snow park pass. And these you can get outdoor retail shops, gas stations, small convenience stores.
It's all about the fresh air, the activity, the wellness, the camaraderie. There's never a bad day.
right. Let's give a round of applause. Why not? Just, I mean, I will say it was a lot of fun working again on this project with both Timberline and the U.S. Forest Service. So we'll also be posting this video as well as the recording of this event to our employee website too. So hopefully you can share it with your loved ones as well. So without any further ado, let's pick a winner. Dan, you want to join me up front real quick? All right. So we took all 33 nominees that we received this quarter, and we've all got them in here. So just pick one, and we'll see who we got. Looks like Haley Hessen with At Your Gate is the big winner. So let's give Haley a round of applause. Many of you probably know Haley as she's running back and forth down the concourse with At Your Gate. It's our food delivery service that we have at PDX, and it's a great way if you're on concourse D or E and you'd like to get food items from one of the other concourses on the other side. So anyways, just great, and we're so excited. That's amazing. I think most of you probably have met Haley or you'll meet her at some point in the future. So now, the moment that we've all been waiting for. So this is the awards part of today's presentation. So this week, we're going to go out. We'll make sure that we deliver all of the gift certificates and award certificates to all of our winners and nominees inside the terminal, the winners that couldn't be with us today. We're also going to share these stories on our digital monitors throughout the airport, which is something that's really exciting. We've been doing that for about the last 6 months or so. We're also going to be posting them on our employee website too. So, and again, for those of you who couldn't join us here in person, you will be able to share this video after the fact, which is super exciting. So a few words about the PDXPeople program. So we're now celebrating our 12th year as a program, which is super exciting. The program has a grassroots advisory council, which is known as the Working Committee. It's made up of representatives from all different industries at the airport, and it's really a team effort. So we're going to have 4 of our committee members that are going to be coming up and reading those customer service stories that we have from today, which is going to be Naomi Eckstein with the TSA, Susan Savage and Nellie Bruno with SP+, and Nikki Bima with Evergreens. So I'd also like to thank the other working committee members who've joined us today. So Carol Cummings, Jill McPherson, Augie Rebello with Tender Loving Empire, Melanie Malara with SP+, and James Swally. So thank you all for being here to support our award winners today. It means a lot. So without any further ado, if I could have the working committee members join me at the front of the room, if possible. And we're going to queue up our first story. So come on up. James, let's get you up here too. Just because you're not reading a story doesn't mean you're off the hook. So yeah. And anyone who is coming up to receive an award, you're welcome to fist bump or elbow bump our working committee members as you kind of go down the line, if you will. So without any further ado, it's going to be my honor to welcome up Nellie Bruno with SP+.
All right. Hello, everyone. So this is for Kishana.
We get Kristen Day first.
Oh, Kristen Dave. Okay, perfect.
So Kristen, you want to come on up? You hear? Nope. Guess you can.
She's not. Oh, yay, okay.
You can stand right in front of it. Yeah, please.
There you go.
All right. So Kristen Day. So we got 2 nominations from your coworkers. So the first one is by Carissa, and Carissa stated, "When I was working a few days in a row by myself, we had delays and cancellations. Kirsten came in on her day off to help me with all the passengers. She was listening to all the passengers and doing everything she could to help them and to help get them through where they needed to go. She goes above and beyond for her coworkers, as well as the passengers. Her kindness always brightens everyone's day." That was by Carissa. Then Shelby stated that there isn't a specific example of Kirsten's extraordinary kindness because that's the way she is every time she comes into work. She treats every one of our passengers with respect and shows them that she genuinely cares. Everyone is always excited to work with her because of the joy she brings to the workplace. Shelby. So thank you, Kirsten. And congratulations. All right. And next is Miss Kishana Jackson. She's with Alamo Car Rentals. So a customer flew into PDX to be with her husband. Her husband had fallen ill and was now hospitalized. The customer did not have a car reserved, and she had been there for over an hour trying to find a rental. Kishana Jackson attempted to rent the customer a car with Alamo. However, the customer needed to return the vehicle to a location that Alamo did not serve. Kishana was gracious enough to check the rates of the other brands and found a company that served her drop-off location. The customer thanked her for helping her through this difficult time and was relieved to be on her way to her husband. Thank you to Kishana for her speedy and thoughtful service to the customer, regardless of brand. Thank you, Kishana. Congratulations. Okay, thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Naomi Eckstein, and I work for the TSA. I'm the customer support specialist for those folks in blue. So firstly, I want to recognize Daniel Bravo. So here's his story from Diane. Diane sent this, and she's one of our passengers. Recently, while at PDX, I exited the X-ray scanning machine when the scanner indicated I needed a pat-down. I am gender nonconforming. A TSA agent approached me and instead of assuming my gender, asked me very respectfully which person I would like to pat me down, his female colleague or him. At first, I was confused, then I realized he wasn't sure of my gender. I smiled under my mask and said, "Nicely done. I appreciate you not assuming." He said, "We just need to use our words." Picture perfect delivery. Please give him my sincere appreciation in front of his colleagues. This experience really made me feel respected and seen. Excellent training and perfect delivery. Nice job, Daniel. All right, next we have Sharif from Moe's. Come on up. Congratulations. Okay. Sharif takes any opportunity he gets to engage with passengers, asking them about their destination or their home, the musician on the t-shirt they're wearing, or any other information they've offered up. He will do everything he can to make our guests feel special and acknowledged. He loves to learn new languages and will often delight a guest from a foreign country by speaking to them in their native language. I love hearing exclamations of delight and surprise when the passengers hear their native tongue spoken right here at PDX. An elderly woman from Thailand and her daughter stopped by our restaurant on their way back to their homeland. When Sharif noticed that she didn't speak English, he made some casual conversation with her in Thai. The woman was clearly touched by the gesture. If the counter weren't so wide, she would have hugged him. Many of the port employees, airline associates, and fellow concessionaires will attest that Sharif is a treasure, a true ambassador for PDX, and he embodies our PDX people values. Congratulations.
All right. Hi, I'm Susan Savage. I'm training specialist with SP Plus. Reggie. Yay! Oh my goodness. Okay. So Reggie, someone named James, decided to let us know how wonderful you are. So, all right. So, although he's a newer employee of ours, Reggie stands out amongst his peers. He's never missed a day of work. He's come in early and stayed late every time he has been asked, which has been a lot. You can tell he loves being around people and enjoys the airport environment. He is a pleasure to work with, and we look forward to watching him continue to grow with our company. So congratulations, Reggie! I'm like, okay, high five. That's as far as I go. Okay. All right, next we have Stepan Polyak and Alexander Kurik. Alex, come on! You can tell these are my guys because I'm just like, get up here. So, all right. So this was submitted by Rima, Port of Police. So, ooh. What'd you do? Okay, I'm kidding. So on December 28, 2021, there were 2 radio calls of a passenger at PDX whose behavior required a welfare check. I was told that the person only spoke Russian. When I arrived on the concourse where the subject was said to be, I came across Stepan and Alex. I knew that Stepan possibly spoke fluent Russian from talking with him several years ago, and I asked him and Alex if they could help me translate. Ooh, that sounds familiar. I've done that one. They did not hesitate and asked how they could help. I told him I wasn't sure yet, but that I would be contacting someone who said that to only speak Russian and asked if they could follow me and be in close case I needed help with translation. They followed me to where the elderly passenger was. As soon as I contacted the passenger, he indicated he only spoke Russian. Stepan stepped in and began conversing with the passenger. The passenger was so delighted that he was able to speak with someone in his native language. He was grinning from ear to ear. He told Alex and Stepan that it was his first trip to the USA. They gave the elderly passenger some information to make sure that he was able to board his flight to Detroit and solve the problem. I sincerely thank them for stopping to help me without hesitation when I made the request. They said if I ever needed any help like that in the future, to reach out, and I really appreciate it. So congratulations, guys. Okay, swap. Somebody swap with me now.
Me? All right, fantastic. How's it going, guys? My name is Nikki. I am the area manager for Evergreens here and all the stores in the Oregon area. And today I'm going to be reading about Officer John Trong. This is from Hatsumi Gruber with Hawaiian Airlines, flight attendant. After landing at PDX and heading to the employee bus stop, I realized that my very important crew bag was not with me. I was frantic. I contacted the PDX Communication Center and told them I thought I may have left my bag somewhere at PDX. They advised me to wait, and soon Officer John Trong arrived to help. He escorted me back to the arrival gate, and by the time we got to gate D4, the surveillance footage had been reviewed. Officer Trong informed me that the footage showed that I walked out with only 2 bags, which gave me hope that my 3rd bag would still be on the plane. He took me to the aircraft, and I was able to reunite with my crew bag. I cannot express how relieved I was. He made sure to check the contents and confirm that my passport, crew ID, wallet, and everything else was in the bag. Officer Trong was very thorough in assisting me in kindness, and I appreciate it if you could recognize his great work. And next I have Junior Granville.
Yeah, Junior!
Just before Christmas, Junior was conducting his duties at pre-security at the BC checkpoint. It was very busy with passengers, but he noticed an elderly traveler who appeared very nervous. He asked how he could help her, and she immediately admitted that to him that she was scared to fly. Right away, Junior began to establish a personal connection and comfort her. She explained that she was going to Nevada to visit her son. She told Junior that her husband passed away a year prior, and she had never flown without him. He asked her what gate her flight was leaving, and from then asked her if he could accompany her to the TSA checkpoint. She said, "You would do that?" As they walked, she showed Junior photos of her home that she had decorated for Christmas in honor of her husband. She indicated that she had always enjoyed Christmas together and began to tear up. As they got to the TSA checkpoint entrance, Junior told her that he would try to check on her at her gate. She thanked him and went through the checkpoint, and he returned to his post. Feeling uneasy about leaving her at the checkpoint, Junior made the decision to leave his post and go find her. He found her putting on her shoes at post-checkpoint, and she smiled when she saw him. He said, "I told you I would check on you. Can I walk with you to your gate?" As they walked, they talked about family, and she showed him more pictures. Finally, at the C gate, she turned to Junior, tearing up, and said, "I'm starting to feel better. I'm going to tell my son about you. I can fly now." Junior assists dozens, if not hundreds of people every day as a customer service agent, but he said so far that this has been the most rewarding opportunity to help someone that he's experienced at the airport. A great example, among many, of personal, outstanding customer service that is so reflective of the service hearts among the staff members here at PDX. From Val.
Second. It's, I know, I thought I was going to let them off the hook. It's my distinguished honor to present the Team Award, which I also refer to as the It Takes a Village Award. And that's because this place really is a village, and it does often involve numerous stakeholders across multiple industries. So in this case, it's really my honor to recognize Dina Niebaum. Come on up, Dina. Let's give Dina a round of applause. Dina, you are the only representative of the Team Award, but you're representing the team, right? All right. We also had some involvement here by Peter Brenner, who is with the Port of Portland Police Department. And then a number of folks on our communications center team. So Tia Davies, Haley Verbrigge, Noah Juarez, and Jeffrey Yates. So I've got a lot of photos up here, but please bear with me as I read through the story. So Robert wrote in to thank Dina Niebaum with Delta and Officer Peter Brenner with the Port of Portland Police Department. Robert's adult son, struggling with substance dependency and mental health challenges, ended up at PDX with no phone, no money, and no way to get home to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a long ways away. And here's the quote. I spoke to my son before he was dropped off at the airport, and I asked him to stay there to find a phone so I could buy him a ticket home. Knowing my son was going to have difficulty in this extremely stressful situation, I contacted Officer Peter Brenner with the Port of Portland Airport Police. Officer Brenner offered to ask his fellow officers to keep an eye out for him, or if he had paged him overhead. Unfortunately, the page remained unanswered, and my son had left the airport. 2 days later, my son got back in touch with me and said that he had made it back to PDX. There he encountered an amazing Delta Airlines employee, our very own Dina Niebaum. Dina observed my son looking disheveled and confused as he approached and asked if he was okay. My son asked for some help making a phone call, and Dina graciously volunteered her personal cell phone. Once he called me, I was able to purchase a ticket for him. Dina remained with my son and assisted him with a boarding pass. My worries were not over since his flight didn't depart until the next morning. Thankfully, the Port of Portland police were wonderful and kept an eye on him in the airport. Before his flight, I spoke with Noah, Haley, Jeffrey, and Tia at the Port of Portland Communications Center, who called the Delta Gate agents and confirmed his status as boarded. Had it not been for Dina's support and assistance, the Delta ticket agent and agents of the and employees of the Port of Portland, my son likely would have never been able to navigate the complexities of this unscheduled and unplanned trip in his confused state of mind. I remain ever grateful for the assistance provided by these incredible individuals, and their actions reflect the highest standards in professionalism and caring for the well-being of other people. My heart is warmed knowing the sterling character of the people who work at Portland Airport. In my opinion, they are the best ambassadors the city of Portland could ever have. My sincerest appreciation to all of you who directly assisted my son or through their leadership create and maintain a wonderful culture of customer service that was demonstrated in assisting my son make his way back home. So for everyone involved, both Dina as well as everyone that was involved in that incident, I just wanted to say a personal and heartfelt thank you. It really makes me proud, and I think we all feel that. We're all, part of this great, amazing culture that exists here, and we're all very proud to be PDX people. So, Dina, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for representing. Yes, and thank you very much to the working committee. You're all welcome to rejoin your seats if you'd like.
Thank you very
yes,
much.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I just wanted to say a final thank you. Dan, you're released to lunch as well as everybody else. So everybody can help yourself to a lunch out in the hallway. And for those of you who are joining us online, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you to everyone in this room and for all the great customer service award winners that we have today. So thank you very much. All right.